verse 21, Ulladhu Naarpadhu, 40 verses on reality given to us by Sri Ramana Maharshi. தன்னைத்தான் காணல் கடவுள் தன்னை காணல் என்னும் பல நூல் உண்மை இன்ன எனில் தன்னைத்தான் காணல் எவன் தானொன்றால் காண உணாதேல் தலைவன் காணல் எவன் ஊனாதல் கான். In this verse, Sri Bhagavan talks about again oneness. Of course, this is a different variety. தன்னைத்தான் காணல் தலைவன் தன்னை காணல் என்னும் பல நூல் உண்மை இன்ன எனில், seeing oneself is equal to seeing God. All the Shastras, all the scriptures say this. Many scriptures say this. The meaning of this is, he says, தன்னைத்தான் காணல் தலைவன் தன்னை காணல் என்னும் பலநூல் உண்மை இன்னை எனில் தன்னைத்தான் காணல் எவன் தானொன்றால் காண உணாதேல் தலைவன் காணல் எவன் ஊனாதல் கான். He says, how can one see another in the absence of two? He is asking. தன்னைத்தான் காணல் தலைவன் தன்னை காணல் என்னும் பலநூல் உண்மை என்ன எனில் தன்னைத்தான் காணலவன் தானொன்றால் காண உணாதேல். If only one thing exists, how can anybody see the other? How can an individual be there first of all to see another thing called God? தலைவன் காணல் எவன், தலைவன் in the sense leader or boss, here the Lord, the Supreme Lord. Who can see the Supreme Lord? தலைவன் காணல் எவன் ஊனாதல் கான். You become food to that Supreme Lord. You become food to that Supreme Lord. This simply means, see, there is a big boss, there is this little individual. Okay, this little individual cannot know this big boss, the Supreme Lord, God, Shiva, whatever. Okay, this little individual cannot know him. At best, this little individual can become a food eaten by this. So he becomes one with what is called the Supreme Lord. That's all. See, I think the mechanism is the same. Mechanistically speaking, Sri Bhagavan talks about only one thing. Little ego is there, which arose from this Brahman, and if you trace the source of this ego, it will go and merge with our true nature, Brahman, Sachidanandam, existence, consciousness, bliss, whatever. God, Supreme Lord, call whatever. The same thing. Sarvapriyananda of Ramakrishna order would often talk about a Sufi saint who said, when I searched for my own self, I found God. And when I searched for God, I found myself. One and the same thing. Then why are we trapped like this? Why do we not know our true nature? The way. Ad nauseum, we need to repeat the same point. Your sense of individuality, my sense of individuality, what is called the ego, which is none but Atma itself, which masquerades as this ego and hides our true nature, which makes us think that I am this little body, I live in this world, there is a universe. Everything is a dream. If we realize our true nature, Sri Bhagavan says everything is like a dream. The whole material order, solid material order is none but stuff found in a dream. Because the things that we find in a dream, the next day when we wake up, there is no substantial existence. Supposing you won a lottery for $1 billion in your dream, the next day morning you go and check your bank balance, it is not going to be there. The same way, whatever we call reality, solid reality, this world, this body, this relationships, this universe is nothing but a dream. Substantial existence is not there. It is insubstantial, Sri Bhagavan says. So, in this verse he says, Tannaittan Kanalavan Tanondral Kanavunadel. Only if I and the camera are there, can I see this camera, right? Only if you and I are there, can I see you. If one only exists, you, I, this camera, this room, the entire universe, everything, if everything is one, how can there exists another person first of all. Only if one person is there, another person, can see him, or this person can see the other person. If everything is one, who can see whom? This is the so-called mystery of oneness that we are trying to resolve. When we do vicharam, whenever a thought arises, if we inquire and find out our true nature, we will shine forth as one. Sri Bhagavan says, Ondrai Olirum. Yellayara Tan Olirum. For a jnani who has realized his true nature, everything will shine forth as one, limitlessly, endlessly, without boundaries. That's what he says. So, Tannaitan Kanalevan, Talevan Kanalevan, Unadal Khan, he says. If you want to know your true nature, through your mind you cannot acquire that infinite nature. It is impossible. Through your mind you can acquire a degree. You can learn a language. You can hone your skills. You can master IT industry. You can master chemical industry. You can master aeronautical industry. But you cannot master Atma, because you are doing all this through your mind. But know the science. Okay, what is the use of knowing all other sciences? Bhagavan would say, if you do not know the science of who you are. You can know yourself if you cut off this instrument through which you acquire all other domain knowledge. This mind is required to acquire domain knowledge of all kinds in the world. But if you want to know the science of who you are, this itself has to go. The instrument with which you know other sciences should subside in its original nature. It has to go, merge in its original nature. This conclusion given in this verse is again given in Devi Kalotaram in many places. Sri Bhagavan says, Avandane Nanmuganum Achivanum Malum. In Hindu religion, in mythology or scriptural literature, three highest gods are spoken of. Brahma, the creator, Vishnu, the sustainer, and Shiva, the destroyer. Sri Bhagavan says, you are Brahma, you are Vishnu, you are Shiva. Provided, one condition is there, provided you, through some method or other, make your mind still. He says, Yav ubayatinale vayubur chalana ivulam kattupadumo yen. The mind is compared to a whirlwind, the wind which does not stop, which keeps blowing from place to place with varying speeds and power. But through one technique or other, if you can control the mind, make it still, whoever makes the mind still, he is Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. It is said in Devi Kalotram. It is an ancient text in Sanskrit. Sri Bhagavan has translated it. And on another place he says, Nane Parabrahmam Nadan Ulagukku Isan. I am that Brahman which pervades the entire existence, which powers the entire existence, which is the substratum of all existence. Nane Parabrahmam Nadan. I am the boss of the universe. Who? Not you as the individual, but as Brahman, as your inner nature, my inner nature. Where is it? Here only. What is the problem? Well, remove it through inquiry. If you go on doing vicharam like this, of course it happens slowly. So he says, Nane Parabrahmam Nadan Ulagukku Isan. I am the boss of the entire universe. Anybody can say it. Even a mosquito comes. A mosquito that visits you can proudly say, if it has the mental equipment to do vicharam, it can say, hey, I am the boss of the entire universe. Yes, an ant that crawls on you can say proudly, I am the boss of the entire universe. Yes, an earthworm can say this, because every living being and non-living being, matter is being pervaded by the one Atma Brahman. It is a constant. It does not change. It is the truth. It is the reality. We don't have to, fortunately, we don't have to create such a Brahman or Atman. If such a project is given to people, people have to strive for million lifetimes, it will not happen. Because it is that power which pervades everything in a formless manner, pervades the entire universe, yet remains untouched. It creates a material order, makes the material order function, the universe, the function, the way it functions, but it itself is untouched by the material order. And our body belongs to this material order, which is impermanent. Fundamentally, Shankara spoke about discrimination, Viveka, which means separating truth from non-truth, self from non-self. It is based on one criterion, impermanent, permanent. As Atma, you will never die. As a body, you will die. As Atma, I will never die. As body, I will die. Simple acceptance. I have seen my parents die, my grandparents die. One of my younger brothers died at the age of 24. I couldn't console myself. Today I understand he must have been born somewhere as per the theory and he must be going to college. This is how life happens. So, intellectual curiosity must arise. Intellectual indignation should arise in us. What is it Sri Bhagavan is saying? Eppodum ulladhu veganma vastuve. When you say I, when you utter the word I, you should know the real meaning of the word I, he says. Simple, right? Simple common sense logic. You say I. Do you know the real meaning? Bhagavan is asking. He's asking you and me and everyone. So we need to admit, yes, I do not know yet. Nothing wrong. Can it be known? It can be known in the sense we can be that Atma. Knowing the self is being the self. We should not get deluded that it can be acquired through mind, through sharp intellect. No. You invest 1 million years and you hone all your intellect, you cannot acquire Atma. What can you do? You can become Atma, be Atma. You cannot even become, you can be Atma. When? On the subsidence of the mind. The mind is like a whirlwind. It does not obey. Right? We need to apply some technique, some tool. We have got pranayama, etc. in yoga. We have got bhakti, devotion, the path of devotion. Because if I ask you to lift a stone weighing 1 kilo, you will lift it off. If I ask you to lift a stone weighing 10 tons, can you with your hands? You need a tool, you need a crane. The same way the mind is very powerful, but it is not more powerful than the Atma itself. And Atma is reflected in our buddhi. So through our buddhi, slowly if you do vicharam, with the help of tools like pranayama or bhakti or karma yoga, slowly it will subside. This wavered, I call it wavered mind, will be pushed back to its source and one day it will merge with the source. That is a reality which already prevails. That is called jnanam. Jnanam is always there, but we are deluded. Let us accept it. Let us go back in reverse gear. You started from point A, you went in forward gear for 10 miles. Now come back in reverse gear or take a U-turn and come back to your source. That's all. So, Sri Bhagavan says, Tannaittan Kanalevan, Tanondral Kana Unadel. Only if two things are there, one can see the other. Who can see the Lord? Well, you can only become food to the Lord, which means the ego must subside in its original nature through Atma Vicharam. So, let us think about it.